Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Sarah. I'm so happy to be here with you again. Thank you to all my lovely patrons who are here. It's so nice to practice with you in this space. Today will be a 20-minute practice, and I'm calling it Slow Flow and Restore. So the first 10 minutes, we will do some nice, yummy, slow stretches to get some mobility in the body and set us up for a 10-minute restorative pose, right? So sometimes before we do restorative, it's nice to open the body up so we have less distractions and can more fully enjoy the restorative part. Okay, so for the restorative part of class, you're going to want a bolster, 2 blocks, and a blanket. If you don't have those props, you will just grab a bunch of pillows and a bunch of blankets, maybe even a couch cushion, and you'll see why. And once we start to set it up, it'll make more sense, okay? Let's begin in a child's pose. You don't really need any props for the first part of class, although they can be nice. So you might want to just have them nearby. Bring your big toes together and your knees wide, and then rest on your forearms for this one, just to start. So forearms are down, you can bring the palms together. Let the gaze still fall toward the space between your elbows, maybe even further back toward the legs. And begin by sending nourishing breaths into the sides of your ribs and the back of your ribs. Exhale, let the back body soften into the front body. And so this practice is all about being gentle with ourselves, about watching the story as it unfolds, and watching it with a sense of love and understanding. Luxuriate in this next inhale. And luxuriate in this next exhale. Good, and then start to lift your gaze toward your thumbs. Crawl your hands forward toward the top of the mat. And then walk your hands over to the left, coming into a side bend. So your hands will most likely come off of the mat. Right hand can stack on top of the left, and then let your front body fall over your left thigh. It's okay if the head doesn't touch down. You can still look down, soften the neck. And if you really want to, you can always slide a block underneath the forehead. Tuck the chin in toward the throat a little bit to lengthen the back of your neck. And then fill up your right side body and the right side of your back with your inhale. Push the floor away a little bit with your left hand, and that'll further stretch your right side body. Good, and then walk back through center, and then take it over to the right. Walk your hands off of the mat. Stack left hand on top of right if you want to, and then drape your right side over your right thigh. Gaze at the floor, tuck the chin in toward the throat. Press into the heel of your right hand a little bit and breathe space into your left side. And if the forehead can touch the floor, let it. Release the weight of the head. One more breath. Open up left side ribs. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Walk back through center. Inhale up through tabletop pose. And then from there, go ahead and sweep your left foot forward between your hands. You can wiggle the right knee back if you want to, and then come up onto your thigh, left hand, or both hands to your left thigh. And then just go ahead and start to push the thigh away from you, drawing your front ribs in. Good. Keep your left hand on your knee, right arm up toward the sky. Take an inhale there, lengthen. And exhale, side bend over to the left. The fingertips can release to a block outside of the left hip or maybe all the way to the floor. Good. Inhale there into your right side. And then exhale, sweep that right hand down. Wiggle your left foot forward. Glide your hips back into Ardha Hanumanasana half splits. Kick out through the left heel. Gently pull your left toes toward the top of your left shin. And then bow on the exhale. Release your gaze toward your right thigh. Keep the back of your left knee supple. Take another inhale here, soften. Complete exhale. Go ahead, inhale, come back forward, plant your left foot. And then go ahead and sweep that left foot back, coming into table. Inhale into cow pose, arch the spine, lift the heart. Exhale, cow pose. Good, and then come to sit back on the heels for a moment. You can slide a block between the heels or come into a cross-legged seat. Just a moment of stillness, stepping back down into your heart. Let the joy of this practice be in the simplicity of the pose. And within that simplicity, let there be a lot of space so that you can feel more and breathe more. Good. Come back onto hands and knees. Sweep your left foot forward between your hands. Feel free to wiggle that left knee back. You can also slide a blanket under the left knee. Come on up and interlace your hands over your right thigh. Press your right thigh away from you. Hug the front ribs in and lengthen the tail down. Good. Right hand can stay on the knee as you lift the left arm up toward the sky. Inhale, reach through left fingertips. Lift the outer left shoulder up and then side bend to the right. Okay, you can stay here with the right hand on the thigh or release your right fingertips to a block or the floor outside of your right hip. Remember that our sides are different, so you might need help on one side. That's totally fine. Hug your left thigh forward and your right thigh back. Inhale into your left side. And then exhale, sweep your left hand forward and around. Frame your right foot. Wiggle the right foot forward a little bit. And then glide your hips back, left hip over left knee, coming into half splits. Peel your right toes away from the mat. Take an inhale there, lengthen your heart toward your toes. Exhale, fold over the right leg. Look back at the left thigh. Keep the back of the right knee soft and unlocked. Wiggle out through your head, release your jaw. And breathe space into the back body. Inhale. And last exhale. Good. Inhale, come forward. Sweep your right foot back, coming into table. One round of cat-cow, maybe up on fingertips this time. Inhale, arch the spine. Look up. Exhale, round the spine and look in. Good. And then come back to neutral. Sit back onto your heels. And we're already there. Coming into our restorative pose. So we are going to take Stonehenge. If you have 2 blocks and a bolster, it's going to look like this. You're going to place the blocks on their highest height at the bottom of your mat, maybe about 1 block's width in between those 2 blocks, and then you're going to place your bolster on top. The blanket will be to pad your head, so open up the blanket to a square, place it at the top of the mat, and then if you don't have this set up, you want to try and pile enough household items that you kind of get to a similar height. If it's lower, that's totally fine. The idea is just to lift the legs higher than the hips. If you have an eye pillow or a clean sock or a hand towel you can fold up, that's a really nice bonus point. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up close enough to your props and then swing your shins up on top. And I want you to really get the shins close up or far up. So the backs of the knees are touching as well. the shins are supported, and then the heels are hanging off the other side. Right, so as best I can, I want to try to get my thighs vertical. As you can see, they're not that way, which is fine, but there's still a nice angle there. And then lay back down, head on the blanket. If you have glasses on, you can fold them up on your belly. And if you have that eye pillow, you can drape it over your eyes at this point. Arms can rest out by your side like Shavasana with the palms face up. And you might kick through your feet a couple of times, lifting the shins and placing them back down, finding that sweet spot. Sometimes I like to wave my feet in and out, wiggle the shins, wiggle the thighs. That helps my muscles relax. And feel free to roll the blanket up in any way that is comfortable for your head. So you might hold on to the bottom edge of the blanket and roll it up a few times, and then slide that little tiny roll underneath your occiput. So right that kind of flat part at the back of the skull. And that will start to tuck the chin toward the chest and bring you into your parasympathetic nervous system, that place where we can rest, relieve stress, and calm the nervous system. We'll allow the shins to grow heavy on your props. Notice the thigh bones as they cascade down into their hip sockets. Invite the lower back to soften and widen on the floor beneath it. And let the front of the spine drift down toward the back of the spine. Back of the skull releases down into the blanket as the chin drifts in the direction of the chest. And then let yourself be embraced by the space and the quiet and the stillness around you. Allow the breath to be easy, natural, untethered. Unhinge the lower jaw. Soften the teeth. Release the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Allow the inner throat to widen and soften. Let there be softness between the top eyelids and the bottom eyelids as you release around the eyes, through the temples, and across the brow bone. And if you hear any sort of noises or distractions, can the practice be allowing them to be part of the experience versus seeing them as a disruption or a disturbance? As if your pores could open even more as you become receptive, letting those noises flow through you because you're so receptive versus being blocked and trying to get in because you're closed off. And that takes time. That in itself is a practice, but you are moving toward that by being here. Relax into that. Please stay longer if you can. Stay here for another few minutes, 5 minutes, maybe 10, to really soak up the benefits of this practice. And if you have to go, come out of the pose slowly when you're ready, resting on your side for a breath or two. And coming out of your practice and reintegrating back into your life as softly as you can. And thank you so much for practicing today. I will see you soon.